Hello, I am so excited to talk with my friend Phong Cao with Remax Advantage Plus this afternoon. It's going to be the spring market, and people are starting to think about buying and selling houses. And I know you have some really important tips for home sellers, which makes you really different from what a lot of other people do. So we thought we'd talk about that today.
Sure. Thank you, Erin, for having me. I do have some tips to let potential sellers know what they need to do before getting a home ready to go on the market.
Mhm.
Yep.
And what's an important thing that you do that a lot of the other agents don't do?
Well, right now I'm doing a lot more pre-listing inspections. Pre-listing
And what
inspection
and what does
is
that
like
mean?
it means that as a seller, we want the home to be good condition. We don't want to see any surprises. So they can do a pre-listing inspection, hire an inspector, come in, inspect the home to find out if there's any problems or hidden problems that the seller may not know about.
Mhm. And what's the purpose of doing a pre-listing inspection?
Well, they could eliminate all the surprises, and the more they know, the better they're off. In that way, um, they know what to expect when a buyer put an offer on their house and they do their own inspection, so there's no surprises.
Yeah, exactly, because so many times now, right, buyers have in their contract that it's contingent on the results of a home inspection. And if you haven't done a home inspection prior to listing the house, you might be very surprised by what the inspector finds, right?
Yes.
hmm And and that surprise can create price concessions or repairs that the seller has to deal with. And potentially they could end up getting less money for the sale of their house in the end, right?
Yeah, in the end, the findings from the inspection may be something major, and they may have to, like you said, do sell a concession or pay closing costs or reduce the price. So that may come up.
Well, and my experience is that, sometimes when buyers find something in a home inspection, the amount of compensation they feel that they should be given for that isn't commensurate to what it would actually cost to resolve that issue. And so by doing an inspection ahead of time as a seller, you can
Mhm.
decide if you want to address whatever has come up in the inspection and maybe do so at a much less cost than what the buyer might ask you to pay in concession for what they find.
Yeah, and sometimes buyers, they want way more than what's really the actual true cost. So this way you could kind of reduce that risk a little bit
Mhm.
beforehand.
Well, and then it reduces the stress for your seller, right? Like
Yeah,
you know
risks.
exactly what to anticipate.
Yes.
Yeah. But what other tips do you have for sellers with regard to
Yeah.
pre-listing inspections?
Well, the benefit of a pre-listing inspection is that if there's anything come up, the seller has the opportunity to repair it, replace it, or upgrade anything the home inspector finds, and then they can do this before putting their home up for sale. That's one benefit. And then also, if they don't want to do anything, they could provide the inspection report to the buyer before the buyer presents an offer, and then the buyer can decide, because you know there's things that haven't been done to the house in a while, and that way the buyer can decide.
They can decide if they're willing to take that on or not, but they know up front, so there's no worry about dealing with it later.
Right.
Yeah. Are all
um
home inspectors equal?
um not that they're not all equal. Some are really good. We have a few preferred inspector within our team that we will recommend.
Mhm.
But we let the client decide who they want to use
Right.
to do their inspection.
But it's good to get a recommendation from somebody who interacts with home inspectors on a regular basis because
Yeah,
the home inspector's job is to find things, right?
Yeah, they always have to find something because if they don't find anything, I mean, maybe they missed something or they didn't look hard enough.
Mhm.
So their job is to find things, even if it's very minor
Right.
or very minor, like maybe the door wasn't straight,
Hmm.
a little crack on top. And when you close the door, it it's not quite 90 degree and aligned perfectly. They'll point that out
Right.
on the report. Yeah.
Well, and that's normal, right? I mean, there is no perfect house. Even new
No,
construction
no perfect
isn't
house.
perfect. So it's normal that you'll see stuff both for a buyer and a seller in a home inspection. The question is just the severity of what you see.
One interesting thing about the pre-listing inspection that the inspector does not inspect kitchen appliances or laundry appliances.
Oh, interesting.
Um, yeah, because the reason for that is if there's an issue with the appliance, the homeowner already knows about it because they're using it every day in
Yeah,
their house,
right.
right?
Yeah. So then it's leaving it up to the seller to disclose properly if there's an
And
issue.
it's closed properly, correct?
Yeah. Now, like I said, I think this makes you really unique in the real estate field because I don't see a lot of real estate agents that recommend pre-listing inspections, but there's so much value. Like you said, it's not just preparing the seller for what they need to know, but it's the
Mhm.
option to give that to the buyer or to
Mhm.
rectify those things in advance and probably end up with a better sales price or a better negotiation because
Mhm.
you took care of anything that would potentially come up on home inspection rather than having to negotiate after you agreed on a price.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
another benefit would be we mentioned that the post-inspection price and repair negotiations are eliminated
Mhm.
because if you can address all the big issues during your pre-listing inspection, so now you don't have to do a lot of negotiating.
Yep. Get
So
everything up
everything's on the
front.
table. Yep.
Yeah, get everything up front in one
Yeah.
price so
Yeah.
everybody's on the same page with what needs to be done.
It gives the buyer a peace of mind, less stress for the seller, and there's no hidden surprises.
Yep. Well, and that's at the end of the day, we want everybody in the transaction to be well served, right?
Yeah.
We don't want people to have surprises after the contract's negotiated or as they get close to closing. And this goes a long way toward doing that.
Yeah. And I like having this pre-listing inspection ahead of time, as an agent, it's going to go through smooth.
Hmm.
Both sides are happy. Um, it's just, stress-free transaction. Who doesn't want that?
Well, right, exactly.
No hassle, no stress.
So
So
how far in advance of people listing their house should they be talking to you about getting a pre-listing inspection?
how far in advance? Maybe just do it 1 month before, at least 1 month before you decide to put your house on the market.
So they have
Getting
time.
an inspector out to your home to inspect doesn't take a long time.
How
They're
long is
probably
that
gonna,
taking right now? It's February of 2024. If you ask a home inspector to get out to house stuff, how fast are they getting out there?
they can get out there pretty quick within 3 days.
Which is great, which is another reason to do it
Yeah,
sooner
yeah,
than later, because as the spring market gets busy, home inspectors get busier too.
yeah. It's just your schedule. If
Mhm.
you're available, they can come out.
Yep. That's
Mhm.
awesome. And it's so nice to have them be that responsive because, like I said, we both know when the market gets crazy, sometimes you can be waiting 7 to 10 days for a home inspector. And it's nice to be able to get them out there a little more
There's
quickly
so
too.
many out there now. They're all competing for your business. They wanna get out there for you right away.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking time to talk about this. I think so many people are going to find this so illuminating because it's such a different approach to what they've heard before, but so beneficial for everybody in the transaction.
Yes, it's very beneficial. You absolutely should do it if you're a
So
seller.
if people want to get a hold of you, maybe they have questions about pre-listing inspections or they just want to talk to you about selling their house, how do they get a hold of you?
They can call me directly on my cell phone, and my number is 952-994-6988.
Awesome. Thank you for taking time to talk with me about this today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks.
All right.